Season 6 of The Good Doctor took viewers on an emotional roller coaster, exploring personal growth, ethical dilemmas, and the ever-present challenges faced by Dr. Sean Murphy and his colleagues at St. Bonaventure Hospital. Lim manages to call Andrews, who locks down the hospital. Shaun, Andrews, Glassman, and Jordan operate on Lim and Villanueva with the help of Jerome and Lee, but argue over the best course of treatment to the point that Shaun defies Glassman's plan. Owen takes Asher, Morgan, and a patient, Ezra, hostage, complicated when Ezra needs emergency bowel surgery. Morgan convinces Owen to release her and Ezra. A remorseful Owen hands Asher his bullets before attempting to commit suicide by cop, resulting in both Owen and Lim needing heart bypass. Shaun has a meltdown and struggles emotionally because Lim's condition reminds him of losing Steve. He hallucinates Steve, who encourages him to let go of his guilt, allowing him to focus and save Lim. Everybody injured in the attack survives and Owen is arrested. Lee's support during the crisis strengthens her and Shaun's relationship, while Asher and Jerome admit their love for each other for the first time. Morgan turns down the job in New York, but Park maintains that she puts her career over their relationship, so they break up. After regaining consciousness, Lim is discovered to be paralyzed from the waist down. Lim struggles to adjust to her paralysis and continuing her role as a surgeon, aided by Glassman, who joins her at physical therapy due to his back problems. Lim later suffers an emotional breakdown about her condition, blaming Shaun, whose risky surgery to save her liver may have caused her paralysis. Asher notices Jordan's crush on Danny and helps her out, causing her to eventually accept the crush. Lim confronts Shaun and ends their friendship, but promises to remain professional with him in their work. Danny and Jordan grow closer, but Danny suddenly aborts a kiss and leaves. At night, while thinking about Charlie's surgery, Shaun has an epiphany and discovers a solution to Lim's paralysis. Danny shares the story of how his family's love helped Danny's drug addict brother become sober. Jordan deduces that the story is actually about Danny himself, and Danny admits that he can't date her because he needs to focus on his sobriety and becoming a surgeon. Lim spends time with her neighbor, only to discover that he never thought of her in a romantic way. Shaun reveals that Lim's paralysis is from a spinal column deformity, and Andrews has him and Glassman work together to come up with a solution. Morgan reveals her search for a sperm donor to Park, but both admit that it would hurt too much to have a baby together while broken up. Morgan accepts Park's help in finding a suitable donor instead. Lea and Shaun are excited at the idea of possibly having a baby together, only to discover that the damage from Lee's miscarriage means that she may never be able to safely have a child. Recognizing that her relationship with Danny will probably never turn romantic, Jordan decides to begin moving on, causing Danny to kiss her. Naveen's case reminds Shaun of his strained relationship with Lim, and Glassman urges them to make amends with each other. The two finally open up to each other, and Shaun apologizes for the pain that he's caused her, while Lim, although still angry sometimes, agrees to work on mending their friendship. Lim agrees to undergo surgery to fix her spine, and Clay makes an open-ended marriage proposal to her. While getting a hand injury treated, Lee finds out that she's pregnant again, leaving her worried about the dangers. Paying a visit to Danny, Jordan discovers him unconscious on the floor, having relapsed on heroin. 3 months later, Lim can now walk with the help of a cane, and Morgan prepares for her embryo implantation while trying to maintain a professional relationship with Park. Danny distances himself from Jordan as he's afraid of risking his sobriety by letting himself fall for her when he's not ready for a relationship yet. Lea and Shaun learn that they are having a son. Lim decides not to accept Clay's proposal, but instead proposes that they move in together, which he accepts. Morgan finds herself caught between a great new career opportunity and her desire to become a mother. Morgan at first turns down the promotion, but Andrews convinces her that Morgan is capable of doing both. After having a rough week, Danny nearly relapses again, but he attends church instead. Seeing her friend's distress, Jordan sits with him as they watch the choir sing. With his house undergoing termite extermination, Glassman temporarily moves in with Shaun and Lee, revealing that he and Shaun share a number of habits. However, Glassman's house later burns down. The three share a touching moment when they feel the baby kick together, and Shaun and Lee begin to work out their differences, while Glassman looks forward to making new memories with his adopted family. Glassman goes overboard in his preparations for the baby, causing Shaun and Lee to kick him out. However, Shaun reassures Glassman that he will be the baby's grandfather, something that Glassman thought that he would never get to be, and Glassman becomes Shaun and Lee's neighbor instead. Jared Kalu, now a concierge doctor, returns to St. Bonaventure in quest of Shaun's aid to treat Roland Barnes, the fifth richest man in the world. Shaun and Jared discover tapeworm larvae in Roland's brain, impressing him so much that he offers a $100 million donation. With Shaun's encouragement, Jared asks Lim to resume his residency, and she allows him to join Shaun's team, but Jared will have to be a first-year resident again. Furious about losing Jared, Roland tears up his donation. While celebrating with Lea and Jared, Shaun receives the news that he's being sued for malpractice. Shaun investigates why Glassman missed 2 sutures from the previous surgery and discovers signs that his brain cancer has returned. He asks Glassman to have another MRI, which he initially refuses, but eventually accepts after Shaun admits he is scared of losing him just as he is becoming a father. Shaun, Morgan, and Park successfully treat Eden, a baby with Turner syndrome. However, Eden's mother dies of a postpartum infection. Having bonded with the baby, Morgan puts off a meeting with her gynecologist about embryo implantation over spending time with Eden. Glassman's MRI reveals a lesion on his brain, and he spends time with Shaun helping to pick out a crib and offering parenting advice. While tests confirm that the lesion isn't cancerous, Glassman misses a step putting the crib together, confirming that there is something wrong with his brain. However, his concerns continue after the surgery when Glassman speaks to the patient. After social services' numerous failed attempts to have Eden adopted, Morgan decides to adopt her herself while simultaneously stopping her EV treatment. Shaun shows Lim a scan of Glassman's brain, which features a spot he believes is permanently damaged brain tissue from a mini-stroke. Lim concludes that Glassman ought not to perform surgeries again due to his executive function now being impaired. Lim makes moves to take Glassman off surgeries, but he resists and threatens to sue if he is. Shaun reluctantly asks Glassman to help convince the man to have the surgery. However, Shaun's constant oversight of Glassman forces him to remove him from the case, and Lim takes over as supervisor. However, during the last leg of the surgery, Glassman forgets the next steps and withdraws from the surgery. While transporting a patient to the hospital, Danny, Jared, and Jerome are involved in a multi-vehicle crash that leaves Danny seriously injured. Due to his addiction, Danny refuses pain medication, but Jordan is forced to give it to him when Danny's pain threatens his life. Although Danny ultimately forgives Jordan, he decides to move back to Texas to recover with his family's help and support to avoid relapsing. Struggling to balance being a mother and her work, Morgan decides to resign. However, after being reminded by his patient what matters most, Park reunites with Morgan to raise Eden as a family. After being pressured by the board to choose between his job and his relationship with Villanueva, Andrews decides to resign. Lee gives birth to baby Stephen Aaron Murphy, and although Glassman doesn't attend, he sends Shaun the gift of an embroidered blanket for the baby. Thanks for watching this recap. Don't forget to subscribe and like. See you on the next Flick and TV.